What's it like to wake up in the morning knowing you've got nothing to do that day but write? I found out when I took 4 months off to do exactly that. Hey, I'm Megan. I'm a professional writer, published author, and writing coach, and I love helping writers hone their process so they can finish their writing projects and meet their goals. So when the pandemic hit, I moved back to my hometown and started the transition from working for the company I worked for where I was living to finding new work down here. And since my contract was up in August, I decided to give myself a little bit of breathing room to figure out what direction I wanted to go in next. So that resulted in me taking off September, October, November, and December, and really I had nothing to do during that time aside from thinking through career goals. Other than that small thing, I had nothing to do but write. So prior to this, I was always either working full-time or in school full-time, so I never really had literally just my entire day free for creative writing. So if you've ever wondered what that's like or if it's all it's cracked up to be, I'm going to share with you 3 things I discovered during that time. So let's go. The first thing I discovered during my 4 months of writing was that it is so good to have spacious time available to write, to just sit and be creative. When you don't have other obligations creeping in, it frees up a lot of mental space. I was like, oh, there's my imagination, it's coming back again. I felt like ideas were coming more easily. My mind wasn't so cluttered with what do I have to get done today, what work do I have to do, and this is key, I wasn't writing every day for work, which is what I usually do, and that meant that writing felt fresh and fun and invigorating again. So my question for you is, how can you build in more time and space for writing? And not just time crammed into the end of your week when you can fit it in, but time that truly feels spacious. Can you get up an hour earlier so that your morning has a little bit more room to breathe? Or can you stay up an hour later once everyone's gone to bed and just have a quiet house to write in? I think the key for me with this first discovery was that it's not so much about how I can fit writing in and make more time for it, but about the quality of the time that I'm spending writing. So I'm curious what your approach is. Do you schedule writing in the same time every day no matter what? Are you a little bit more flexible with your schedule and let it depend on how you're feeling day to day? Or do you do a mix of each? How has your writing time been? Do you sit down and you feel anxious about how many words you have to get and you're always looking at the time to make sure you're not late for your other obligations? Or have you set aside time for yourself that feels like, oh, this is my writing time. I've got my coffee, I've got my music, I've got whatever helps me just feel relaxed and ready to work. Okay, the second discovery I made during those 4 months of writing was that motivation doesn't really change just because you have more time to write. Like, I kind of thought that because I had so much time to write, I would be writing all the time, but I actually found it was still hard to be motivated to write. And part of me wonders if that's because I used to write for work and I'm actually still in the process of separating writing from work in my mind. But it also showed me that more time doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do more writing. So all of us who say, oh, I would write more if I had more time, well, maybe not. The nice thing about having plenty of time to write is that if you don't write in the morning because you procrastinate or whatever, you have all afternoon you can write. You can fit it in whenever you want, you're not bound by a predetermined schedule. But that being said, it's also really easy to procrastinate. So what do you do when you have a lot of time on your hands? Are you quick to take advantage of it and say, goodbye, I'm shutting myself in the room, this is writing time? Or are you quick to be like, maybe I'll just sit on the couch and watch TV, or maybe I'll just go outside and do something else, or I'll run to the store, or I'll call a friend, or any of the above. It was really surprising to me that I was not more motivated to write when I had more time. I was not expecting that. But it's really helped me to see that A, I like doing things other than writing, and that's okay. And B, it actually kind of helps to have some structure in your day. So if I was a full-time fiction writer, I don't know, I'd have to have some strict deadlines or something, because I don't know how that would work. What do you think? If you had all the time in the world to write, would you actually sit down and do it regularly? Let me know. The third discovery I made during my 4 months of writing was that, for me at least, the best writing I do happens slowly. I've been reflecting on this a lot since I took those 4 months off, and especially in the last 6 months when I really haven't been writing that much, and I'll make another video on what I've learned in that time. But really, this discovery started back in those 4 months, and I learned when I'm trying to rush out a bunch of words, my writing is just not what I want it to be. But when I can sit down and relax and breathe and take in my surroundings and just let ideas come, or even if I'm sitting there and I don't know what to write about, but something catches my eye and I can use that to spark a story or a scene or a couple sentences, I find that taking my time and letting those things happen naturally ends up with me producing writing that I actually like. That was surprising to me because I am a big word goal girl and NaNoWriMo participant and all about cranking out words, and I'm a professional writer, so my whole life is meeting very quick deadlines with certain word counts. You gotta write a certain amount of words every day. So I've realized that I've been applying that to my creative writing, and I don't think it's serving me very well. So I'm interested in knowing what that's like for you. Do you find that you prefer writing quickly, that it helps you get your ideas out faster? Are you like me where you've realized, you know what, I actually just need to take it slow and it doesn't matter how many words I get through today? It also makes me think a lot about the productivity culture that surrounds the writing community, which is another video for another day. But I'm curious, are you ever caught up in trying to get enough words out on the page and you only feel satisfied if you do that? So that's the third discovery I kind of made, was that, you know what, for me, actually writing slower is more satisfying. Even though it's really unsatisfying also because it takes much longer to finish things, but I'm learning to let that go. We've got to just set that over there. So that's a little bit about 3 of the things that I learned when I took 4 months off of writing. I ended up writing 3 short stories. I did NaNoWriMo, and I started, or did I start another novel? I think I finished a previous novel. Maybe that was during the summer. Anyway, it was a great time. Some of my favorite things that I've written came out of that time, so I highly suggest if you do have the opportunity to take some time off at any point in your life to write, do it. It can be a great gift. So yeah, that's my story, guys. That's my story. Yeah. I'm curious to see what you guys think about the 3 things I discovered. Are these things you've thought about before in your own writing journey? Are these things you haven't thought of before? And what does it make you think about in terms of how you approach your own process? If you like these kinds of videos or want more tips on how to hone your process so that you can finish your writing projects and meet your goals, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!